Jen,
right.
do you know why it's bad to iron a four-leaf clover?
Oh, iron a four-leaf clover. No.
Yes, because you should never press your luck.
Boom, boom.
Oh, good stuff. So much energy. Put in your booby rocks.
Live your best life. Keep doing you.
So much energy. Let's stick together with some high kicks. Wow, wow. All right, everybody, welcome to this episode of So Much Energy. It's me, Jenny McKinney, and I am here with Jeff Jones in New York.
Jen, thanks for having me. New York!
New York! He's over there with his big apple.
Jazz hands. That's only because my head's so close to the camera here.
Awesome! And we are so excited this week. We have a guest all the way from Ireland. It's 11 o'clock at night, and she is here with us. It's Fiona!
Fiona, do, blank, fill in the blanks yourself, yeah?
Yes, and we're excited to have Fiona this week because she is going to be telling us about sound healing, and then we're going to also talk about meditation. So yes, so Fiona, tell us about yourself and the amazing offering of sound healing.
Okay, so my name is Fiona McDonagh. I am based here in the west of Ireland in Galway, County Galway. And today, for example, I was actually holding an outdoor sound bath meditation, which is like sound healing and meditation combined. I came across my first sound bath, I think it was about 13 years ago now. And we were at this camping event, and I had absolutely no clue what I was put my name down for, only that everybody told me that you really can't miss this gong bath. And so I turned to a gong bath, yeah. And
okay.
Sound bath, meditation, gong bath. And
gong bath.
This lady had a lot of gongs. I've got a few gongs myself now, but this lady had more gongs than I had. Anyway, I said to the people I was camping with, I said, so how do I dress in this bath? And they were like, what? You're not getting in a bath. So I have had lots of people who have come to a sound bath and have had that quizzical look, and I go, okay, so let me tell you my story. Let me settle your nerves. You're not getting in a bath. And actually, there was one lady who came to a sound bath once, and her friend was with her. Now, she didn't tell me at the time, but she told me afterwards that her friend's husband had convinced her she was getting in a bath and she was wearing a swim costume.
Honestly, that's what I would assume.
I was going to ask, have you ever had somebody show up in a bathing suit? Yeah.
Well, I didn't know this lady was wearing one, but I knew afterwards. But yeah, so I too was, as I call it, a sound bathing virgin. I had no clue what I was entering into. I had the most profoundly intense, positively intense, like sensations in that sound bath meditation. Yeah. And I came out of it and I thought, you know something? I think I've just found my religion. And I went on to train in specifically Tibetan singing bowls first, and then I've gone on to gongs. And I don't know, I have a family. I call them my sound bathing babies. I think there's about 40 odd in the family. Now, I might not play all of them every sound bath, but there'll be a family of Tibetan singing bowls, a family of chimes, little family of gongs. And yeah, so today, for example, I was involved in this. We had in Lisdoonvarna, which is the next county along to us, there was a slow food festival, and it was the whole theme of the festival was well-being in the Burren, and the Burren is a big, massive national park in Ireland. And yes, we had a yoga festival, and I did a yoga nidra and a sound bath to finish. And we had, I think about 30 maybe people at it, and we had beautiful weather. People were lying outside the tent. It was just gorgeous.
That is amazing. Do you find that, so what I'm thinking is, if you have 30 people that come to your event and they're all different backgrounds, beliefs, experiences that they're all bringing, don't you find that the sound will almost kind of align them in a sense, or do you feel that they're all bringing their own energy to your event?
Well, it sounds kind of like quite a woo-woo statement, but I would thoroughly agree with it, that a sound bath meets you where you're at, and that, in actual fact, until you experience a sound bath, it raises more questions than it gives answers. But I think it really does. So there is no hard and fast rule about how any one person will experience a sound bath, and actually experience is the best explanation.
Yes.
And each one could be slightly different, though some people have similarities, but they might have slight variations within that. So to answer your question, it's not, I don't think, that they come to a sound bath and then they all begin to almost like vibrate in the one energy, but they certainly leave different than when they first came. But everybody could experience it slightly differently. And some people, from 1 to 30 might experience it quite different, but there will be similarities within it. The majority of people would be very relaxed and sleep really well the night afterwards, or the evening afterwards. Like I'd say, I don't know, 97.8%. But there have been 2 people that I know of that have experienced my sound baths that feel energized. So, for example, there was an event I was hosting down in Cork. There was 2 ladies at it out of a group of about 40. And these 2 ladies, for example, one went home and slept for 10 hours solid. And the other lady went home and felt so energized, apparently she cleaned her kitchen from top to bottom. So, she's in the minority, though. Most people go and feel really, really deeply rested afterwards and sleep really well.
Yes.
Now, is it called a bath because of the wash of sound, like the flow of the noise?
Yes, so that would be because when these instruments are played, they are bathed over you, washed over you, exactly. So
like
I suppose
a washer, that's what I meant.
If you think of it like they're sound waves and you're surfing on them.
Okay, so there's no water at all.
No, not technically speaking.
Maybe hydration.
Well, that's always a very good plan. You could actually experience one through the medium of water, as in if I was outside and you were in a bath and you experienced, because the water actually will conduct the sound even better. I've heard of such in Iceland.
That's why I wasn't sure if there was like a pond or a fountain or something that actually was done around because of something to do with the reverberance of sound.
No, the majority of them, no. But
Okay.
if you ever get to experience it, actually, if you pour some water into a Tibetan singing bowl and you have somebody that rims it, so that's using the mallet around the edge and it gets it to vibrate, what happens is it starts to form these triangular mandalas. There's a fancy word for it now that has just left my mind. But and you can actually get the water to become effervescent.
Wow.
Like through vibrations?
Yeah. And I've seen it. Yeah.
I went to a what we just call it sound healing here, and the lady that was doing it said that her friend actually started doing beer in there. They would do beer in there in the Tibetan singing bowl, and then they would put the vibration in it, and then they would drink the beer after to infuse it in their body. I think it was just a way to drink. But
I would suggest water myself, personally speaking. But
yeah, how about
hey, whatever floats your boat. Excuse the pun.
Hot tea.
Right. I don't know. I just thought that was really interesting. But I love that you bring up the vibration and how the shape of the vibration would look.
Yeah, I suppose that's going. I mean, there's a famous Japanese bloke, Emoto, that did an awful lot of studies on water and ice crystals and such like. But yeah, it is a really interesting. Now, I personally, with my own singing bowls, have not managed to get them to make the water actually jump, but it certainly changes into patterns. But I have been with somebody and she had her bowl doing it. So sometimes, like when I was training, for example, we got to borrow bowls from the lady I was training with, and I could not get one bowl to rim. It just would not rim for me. So it and I were not vibrating on a same level. So that bowl and I had to be retired back to its mother as such. And I got other ones and they worked perfectly fine for me.
Yeah. When you do I'm sorry, you go ahead, Jeff.
This might be a question for you, Jen. Is the sound bath, is that similar to a drum circle?
No, because a drum circle would probably be more participatory active, as in you would be drumming in it. So a sound bath or a sound healing, you come to it and you essentially lie rested as comfortably as possible, and basically I'm the active party and you're passive.
Okay, so not everybody is contributing a sound.
No.
Oh,
it's just one. So she would be doing the sound,
and
they're receiving the healing or the bath.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought everybody brought their own sound bowl or their own.
Oh, that could be fun.
Instrument, and you tried to get them in hymn with one another rhythm. Kind of like a drum circle, but with sound bowls is what I was thinking.
My sound babies. I have there's a team of about 40 of us now. So I get them and I play them, and you come and you get yourself as comfortable as possible.
And let it wash over
any which way you like. You'd be lying on your side, lying on your back. I actually once held a sound bath where this lady was lying face down with her hands in prayer position up behind her back, like it's a yoga pose, but for about a half an hour or so. I thought, wow, that girl has got some serious shoulders that she can do that. That's about the weirdest way I've seen somebody lie. But usually, as comfortable as possible. In fact, today there was a couple and they were holding hands.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
Do you have people that will share their experience with you after? So if they go into a meditation or whatever they feel a frequency, or do they share that with you, or do you have like a group share after?
No. Well, yes, individually usually, and it might start a conversation going with a small group of people. I don't sit in a circle and say, so how was everybody's experience? unless it was kind of like a privately organized group where they were happy enough to do that, because oftentimes when I hold sound baths, there might be, like, I've held them from groups of 2 to actually 102, so that could be quite a big group to be sharing with. And some people like to come, receive, experience, and quietly, just chill off into the evening. And then some people are really happy to talk about it. Like I do at the beginning of my sound baths, and partially because I quite like it, is when somebody explains a little bit about how it can be. So I do that for a couple of minutes beforehand, but I do always bring in that, experience is the best explanation. I can't say how it's going to be for you. And there is no good and there's no bad, there's no right, there's no wrong, there's how it is for you. And I give a little bit more on the theory. But usually towards the end, then somebody will come up and go, so this happened for me, is that normal? And I go, it's your normal.
Yeah.
But that can be like, I've had physical, mental, emotional. One woman who went, oh my God, I now know what color to paint my bedroom wall, to a guy who came up to me and said, oh, I had an osteopath treatment yesterday on my, I think it was left shoulder, left hip. And he said, like, how did you know? The sound went right there. How did you know? And I said, it actually has nothing to do with me. I'm just merely the person who gets the instruments to do the work, but they do it all, It's all the sound vibes, really.
That's so amazing. I know when we had it, we were at a retreat and there were 6 of us. And what we did is we laid our heads towards the sound and then, with our feet away. But we were right. She had gongs, the bowls, chimes, everything. And she was saying that she kind of tailors it to the group in whatever sense she's feeling. She's not, there's no specific song per se, or I don't gong for 10 minutes, then I do bowls for 10 minutes. It's kind of, you feel the energy of the group. Would you say that?
Oh, absolutely. And I doubt I've ever played the same tune twice. I have no idea what I play. It comes up and like, say, outside today, I probably played my gongs a little bit louder because there was no walls. But that's only ever so slight. I would know that, nobody else would. But I'm not aware that I played anything else particularly different. But the atmosphere changes it. The acoustics of the building you're in, whether I'm on a floating floor, whether it's concrete, that changes how they play, and plus the group. So even a few weeks ago, I did 2 different days with a high special needs dependency people, from wheelchairs to some of them non-verbal, and they had their minders with them. And so I was doing it with them. So I wouldn't have played today like I did for them, because you've got to be quite mindful that too much can be jarring for some folks. So I've been to nursing homes, I've been to primary schools, or what you'd call elementary schools. And for like the likes of elementary schools, you wouldn't actually ask kids to lie still. It's more interactive. So you would tailor it to the group that you're with. And that would be more on an intuitive basis than me going, oh, today has to be different because, you know.
Yeah. Do you find yourself, if you were to be a receiver of the sound bath, do you feel more energetically connected to it, or do you feel like you're at a higher frequency, or how would you explain if you were to receive it?
I'm sure my frequency can be as low as the next person, so I'm not going to put myself up on a high pedestal I can fall off and hurt myself. I think from playing them, what I've really found over the years is that I don't hold on to stuff like I used to before. And when I'm playing, which is interesting to note, is while it's active, there's still some bit of me that is it's very unconscious or subconscious, I suppose you could say. So even though I don't consciously go to start playing and go, right, today I'm going to think of this and I'm going to sort that out, something will come up, and by the end of the time I've come to finishing it, I'll have gone, so it clears the monkey mind. So it has that positive effect to me. It's like meditation in general clears the monkey mind. So it has that effect for me, even though I'm actively involved in it. So any sound baths I've gone to, I've just loved them. I've actually, there is a little bit of me goes, oh, what instrument is that? That sounds lovely. And then I go, stop being trying to figure it out. Just be. And when I switch off from being, I'm like everybody else. I'm flat like jelly. It's great.
I know that there's been times where when I go to meditation or do a sound healing, I go right into meditation. I mean, immediate. And some people, during our share, that kind of triggers them because they don't get there that fast. So I've noticed that. So it's not that I'm hesitant to share. I mean, they're just irritated on their own. But the last experience I had, when we were laying on the floor, I could literally feel myself like fall out of my body into the dark, into the black. And it was just black and quiet the entire time until, she said to come back. I said, oh my gosh, I was like in the nothingness. And then she's like, do you know how many people try to get there? And I said, I can't believe I was there the whole time. And then, things started making sense, like the never ending story, talking about the nothingness. And then you're trying to get into that part of your mind where there is nothing and there's no thoughts, there's no body, there's no nothing.
There's no time.
Yeah. And then it's crazy because some people will ask, how do I know if I'm meditating? Because I think I fall asleep. And I said, well, if you come back when they're telling you, then you were meditating. You just didn't know it.
Oh, absolutely. I suppose we would refer to that liminal space, the theta brainwave. And I actually, like, even when I'm playing sometimes, like, I keep an eye on the time because obviously one is mindful of people have lives and me too. But sometimes I think, oh, wow, this is really amazing. Like, I must be playing 10 minutes. And I go, wow, it's been not even one. Wow, not even one. And then another time I might think, God, that was like that 2 minutes went, and wow, it's 15 minutes? Shit. Not quite like that, but you kind of, so time can shift for me as well. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite instrument?
Oh, that all depends on the day you ask me.
Okay. Gotcha.
Or what I'm holding in my hand, I'll go, so when you do this with this one, oh my God, it's just like this. Oh, wait, I'll show you this one.
Do you ever add in anything that seems unusual?
Again, it depends. I have a couple of extra instruments that I don't always play, so I might bring them based on what tickles my fancy on that day. So recently I went to see this band in Ireland, and they're kind of like a new trad band, very kind of tribal, Irish, traditionally influenced tribal kind of music, it sounds. Anyway, the guy was playing and he had a bass juice harp, and I went, oh, I want one of them. Whoa. So I went off and I bought one, and I'm like I'm playing it away on my own. I carry it around in a glasses case, so I take it out every now and again. I haven't quite found where it's going to slot in, but I know it's going to be the next one that gets introduced. Which, each facilitator has their own set of instruments. There's no hard and fast rule what you have to have.
Yeah,
that's my new one that I'm just playing with.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you have a favorite target market or like a group that you play for?
No, but I suppose from people I've spoken to, I know there are those that have told me after coming maybe for a series of group sound baths where they've said things like, I was going through some stuff and this really helped me. So I think for me, it's those kind of people. And there was another lady I know, and she'd come for a couple of times. I had very little to no knowledge of what her life was like. Anyway, there was another lady who'd come for her very first time, again, was having one of those conversations about, is this happened and is this normal? And this first lady, we'll call her Mary, for example, came up and said, oh my God, what did I tell you? I go home from here, I sit on the couch with a cup of tea and I fall asleep. And I go upstairs to bed and I go straight back to sleep and I sleep like a log. And I was going, oh my God, she's comatose after this. With the way that she translated, she goes, I tell you something, I don't sleep most nights. This just takes me such a deep, deep sleep. I just love it.
Yeah.
And I went, wow. And I didn't know any of that. And that's one of the things I think that's lovely about group stuff, that you don't have to tell your story. You can just go in, experience, take from it what you need and skedaddle. And you don't have to. You don't have to talk to anybody. It depends on the grouping. Some people, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Do you offer online sound bath, or is it more just in-person classes?
I have done online ones in the Great Pause. If you don't give it its full title, it doesn't have the energy.
Okay.
I tried a couple of online ones. My preference though is in person. You need to have a keyboard person, and I don't have enough capacity for that. But what I did do then around sometime in that year, there's a guy locally who has a smallish recording studio. So I recorded a professional one from beginning to end, and I have it available on my website. So people can download it and it's theirs to keep. And the quality of it is really good, because when I first got into sound, actually even before maybe I went to my first sound bath, I can't remember now exactly, but I know I had CDs and they sounded very tinny, and I didn't really, the quality wasn't great. So that's all of that has most definitely improved, not just mine, but the funny thing was when I went to record it, the guy is a musician and he's recorded lots of stuff with lots of musicians, but this was his first time ever doing this. So I came down one day with my Tibetan singing bowl, a couple of them, small gang of the family, and tried them out. And he was like, oh, yeah, okay. So then I came down another day and we played one of my gongs. And he was like, okay, so we'd have to do this, this, and this, for to create soundproofing. And then I brought the whole gang down, set it all up. And he said, so how do you want to do this? And I went, oh, well, I only ever do it from beginning to end. And he went, oh, all in one go. And I said, yeah, that's how I do it. So that's how we did it.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
What website is that available?
My website is called laveclinic.ie. So I'm also a holistic therapist, and Lamh, which is L-A father M-H in Irish, means hand. So I work with my hands, and I also thoroughly believe that everybody needs a hand of support behind them, whether it's physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually. So it's Lamh Clinic is my website name.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely send people over there to get that. I noticed that, and I appreciate you sharing that too, because what I noticed is, because if time's limited and somebody can't get to sound bath, then it's nice. I would highly recommend headphones too, because I feel like because you'll get different sounds in different ears and it hits different is how it affects me.
Yeah, or a good Bluetooth speaker, something like that. Yeah, a laptop speaker probably wouldn't be great. A phone could be okay. It just depends on the phone. But no, a speaker of some description would be wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah. to get all the sounds. Yeah. What is the longest sound bath you've done?
Usually mine are about 90 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I begin with depending if I have sound bathing virgins, I begin with a little small, like 5 or 6 minutes of a like an intro, just so people know what kind of to expect. And then I always start with chanting. So I find that that's a nice from voice into sound itself. And then, I've been told mine are quite musical, even though I would not rate myself as a musician, but people have said that to me as one bit of feedback from holding them. So it's like a beginning, a middle, and an end,
Awesome. Do you ever use any sort of sound bath in your clinic? Or do you have them come to your class?
Yeah, so I do sound therapy, what we call sound therapy 1-to-1, yeah.
Oh, awesome. I'm trying to figure out how to ask this. Do you have where you would just kind of intuitively know what the person needs? Like, okay, if they're dealing with this, I feel that the gong would help them, or the Tibetan singing bowl, or how do you choose how to do sound therapy?
If I've never met the person, I would tend to use, so I have one gong that's a bit smaller and handheld, so it's easy, portable.
Okay.
If I've never met them, that would be the biggest gong I would use, and then I would use the rest of the family of particularly singing bowls, but chimes and rattles and whatnot. What I do at the beginning of a sound therapy 1-to-1 session would be I would ask somebody what their intention for the session was, and that would be my focus. And then usually something comes up that I really don't have a clue what I'm talking about by the end of it. As in, I'm not a babbling Egypt now or anything, but more I go, so let me tell you what I felt was, and usually it lands with them and they understand what I'm saying, because the words they're not my words. So it's almost like channeling, but it's the sound is the thing, and I'm just happen to be the voice that happens to get it out.
Okay. Yeah. So when you say that you work with your hands too, do you also include Reiki, or that's not something that you do?
No, I'm an acupuncturist and a craniosacral therapist.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And I often combine the two together.
Yeah. And can you kind of give a explanation of craniosacral?
So craniosacral is very gentle, hands-on therapy. It's not dissimilar to Reiki, but the training is quite different. Well, in this country it is, certainly. It's 2 years. And it's non-invasive and it's non-manipulative. So it's helping the body to help itself. So our belief would be that everybody's body has an innate intelligence, and under the right circumstances and with the right support, it can help itself to balance itself. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we don't do ourselves favors, and sometimes there are external, obviously, influences that can knock that off kilter as such. So I would have treated 1-week-old babies to 92-year-olds. So it's very gentle, and I'm not like, it's not osteopathy or chiropractic work where you're cracking people a bit. So it's helping the body to help itself, but in a very non-manipulative, gentle way. I brought all my own children for craniosacral work. And I myself was really lucky when I began my own training in acupuncture. A friend of mine was training in craniosacral, and we used to do these swaps. So I would say that the very first 6 sessions I had of it, I had toddlers, I will say. It's my excuse. And I just went to sleep every time I went over there. And then about session 7, maybe it was, I got up off the table and I said to my friend, I went, "Oh, I'm sorry, did I hit you with my arm?" And she said, no, your arm didn't move. And I said, "Oh, no, I did." And if you like really throw your arm back and you feel that stretching underneath your arm. And I went, no, it did this. And she said, no, it didn't. And I went, but it did. I did this on the table. I know, I felt it. I did it. And she said, "No, you felt the memory of it." And I went, "I felt what?" I said, "What?" And after that, it was like every session was these amazing sensations. So I think I needed the first 6 to tune myself up.
Wow. Yeah, that's amazing. I love that. I love how
it's wonderful work.
Yeah. And what would you say is your overall goal? Just, as a healer, but what is your overall goal with your practice?
Well, it's interesting. I was doing this video challenge a couple of weeks back, and I'm not very good at scripting things, but when it came to when they ask us to give a little video on this, anyway, I realized when I was talking, I went, I was helping these two ladies and and this lady felt this way, and it's like being able to give somebody the life in their life. And I think that's just awesome. Improving the quality of life for people. Life and life. I think it's wonderful.
Yeah. How amazing too that somebody can come to you just unexperienced, no expectation, doesn't know what's going to happen at a sound bath, and still can get healing without even knowing that would happen.
Absolutely. Yeah. And that's for some people that's exactly the way they need to do it. Right. That's as close as they need to be to healing in order to feel it, and I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
It blows my mind how people feel after them.
Yeah, I know. I can vouch for it. It was a profound experience for me, and I still listen to the one lady that came to our retreat. She has some online videos. So I'm excited to get to your website and download your audio. I would love to do that.
Absolutely. In relation to listening to a recording as relation to listening to it in person, if you imagine whomever is your favorite musical artist, okay, and you get to go to see them in concert, for example, so say there's one particular song, so it becomes laid down in your system with the whole experience of being there with whomever you were, how it was, fun, the emotions that you felt, the crowd, the smells, everything, and it gets filed away in your subconscious. So when you listen to that song again without you knowing it gets pulled back up, and all of that is included in your listening. So it's not to say that listening to a sound bath doesn't give the same thing, but if you've ever been to a live one, this is in your subconscious. As soon as you go to, say, lay down, put your headphones on or get your speaker sorted, whatever, and listen to it, your subconscious will go, oh yeah, I remember all the things we do when we're here. But it happens in a millisecond and you're not conscious of it. So that's what a recording can do for you. It can bring you right back to where you were, which is the most amazing things.
Yes. And I'm excited too to hear from our listeners when they download it, if they have, better sleep, if they have a healing experience, I'm excited to hear from them. So we would love for them to reach out to your website, support you and the craft that you're offering and your gift, which I'm super excited about, and that they can just enjoy that themselves and then share. So I would love if we get some feedback, then I would definitely pass that along to you so that how our listeners have been touched and how they felt during that audio.
Yeah, absolutely. They can get to listen to chanting with an Irish accent.
Yeah, I love it. Well, it was super great to connect. Did you, Jeff Jones, did you have any other questions you wanted to ask?
No, I love hearing her accent. I love hearing her talk about it. It sounds really appealing, just the sound healing itself. I'm excited to download that, check it out.
Yeah. Was there anything else that you wanted to add, Fiona, before we leave?
No, I don't think so. I think I'll probably talk for Ireland.
No, that's okay. That's why I wanted to set a timer to honor your time. I know it's probably way past your bedtime. But we appreciate you being here. We'd love to have you back. And I'm excited to share any information we get. So if anybody has any feedback they want to share, feel free to give it to us. It's feelthegenergy@gmail.com, and email us with any feedback and healing experience that you have.
Cool.
Yeah.
I look forward to it.
Yeah. Well, good to see you, Jeffy. Have a good time in New York. And thanks again, Fiona, for being here. It was super nice to meet you. And yeah, we love your accent and we're excited to see. I'm just more excited to heal the world, as a whole. Okay. So, yeah.
One episode at a time.
Yes. I love that.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. Well, we'll see you again next time.